Good morning, it is Monday, and just planning out what I'm going to get done this week on Shooty and the Catfish. So my goal for today is actually episode 1 here. If I can, want to get all of the work left for episode 1 finished. So at this point, that's all the NPCs for Grit, as well as the content for the Mushroom Mines in terms of the new sprites. It's basically all graphic stuff and fixing some bugs that I created in episode 2 when I accidentally removed from some events when I created episode 2. I renamed some things that broke some stuff. So I need to go back and fix that. But my goal is for this week to have episode 1 back, basically fully complete, but with all the new assets. And I would like to be able to, for the $5 patrons, be able to get a playable build of the town and the dungeon back up for them. So that's my goal for today. And I'm going to start that by cleaning up all of the faces for the town of Grit. That's my first task. And it's probably going to take me most of today, I imagine, to get this done. It's quite cool today, so maybe I'll also be able to get some NPC sprites done. We'll see, but I'd be happy with just getting all of these updated. So, time to get into it. Good afternoon. It has been a day. It's actually been pretty good, pretty productive. Feeling pretty happy about it. So I got all of the face portraits for Grit redone. Most of them are pretty similar. I made some slight alterations to this guy so he isn't showing his hand anymore. And Lemon here from my game Flatwoods no longer has his little hat. His baldness is a little more prominent, and you can also see his original t-shirt from Flatwoods underneath his new bartending jacket. And on the other side we also have these guys, which are pretty much mostly the same. I'm pretty happy with how Elmer came out, despite the fact that he is for those who don't know, Elmer is from a game that a friend of mine was making, and he has since cancelled it. He was put in episode 1 of Shooty and the Catfish as an optional boss, so I guess that's where he lives on now, forever and ever, right here. But and I also made a portrait for the Cordy biceps, which originally didn't have one. So if you've played through it before, you'd know that this guy here, Big Boy Broseph, gets infected with some fungus and becomes the Cordy biceps, who kind of stalks you Mr. X style through each episode as a little surprise. So yeah, that's it for today. And tomorrow I'm going to be getting to work on actually creating the new character sprites for these guys. And with the change in visual direction, I won't have to worry about them having walk cycles and things. They're all kind of locked down, which means I'll really only have to do a front and then just change the face, the way they're looking, basically, for if you approach them from the left or right, and a back version, which should actually make it pretty feasible to get all these done in a day. We'll see, because it is a lot of work, but I think it can be done. So yeah, that's exciting. Good afternoon. It is Tuesday and my backyard is full of birds, so that's what you can hear in the background. Not much I can do about that, but I did do a whole bunch of stuff today, and that is basically all of the new NPC sprites for the town of Grit are now in the game. Some of them just bob up and down like these guys. This old man just bobs his head. And he talks about having saggy old balls, because, you know, that's the sort of thing an old tiger would say. And then we've got guys like this guy here who does like a little stepping animation because he actually walks around the environment instead of being locked down. And then we can come up here and we can see this fella here is doing a bit more of a jive and dance with his arms. And here we have the mayor, who has both this up and down animation as well as a walking animation because he has to get out of the way clearly. And if we go into the pub, we can say we have this fellow up here, Mr. Vomit Man, and he's teetering back and forth, and I'm pretty happy with how his animation came out, actually. It's kind of interesting to watch. It's kind of visually confusing, which I think helps with that whole drunk feeling. And then we have, of course, this lady down here. And that's something else I've been doing is correcting the dialogue boxes, so if the characters are at the bottom of the screen, they're at the top. So that's something that I hadn't originally implemented, and now I am implementing. And of course, Lemon here, which for some reason he isn't working, so I guess I'll fix that. But yeah, it's all coming along. That's basically taken me all day to get all these character sprites done, and that's basically all of them. So the next step is tomorrow is getting to work on the characters inside the dungeon. So More character work on the way. Good morning, it is Wednesday, and today I'm going to be trying to recreate, or not recreate, but modify all of the battlers for the dungeon in episode 1 of Shooting the Catfish. So we've got the big boy Broseph here, we've got the Drakbat, we've got the Hard Hat Chicken, which if you haven't played the games, instead of having mimics, here in Australia we have these, they're a kind of ibis, and they kind of spend a lot of time in garbage bins, so we call them bin chickens. And so there are garbage bins that have items in them, and occasionally you'll get a bin chicken in one instead. So yeah, they're basically my mimics, a very Australian take on the mimic. A little mushroom man, some skeletons, the Cordy biceps, which is what Big Boy Broseph becomes once he gets infected with a mushroom. Earthy Chode, we got Elmer, the optional boss fight. Leggy Clyde, Mr. Millipede, who is the boss for the first episode. You got this guy, Senior Mushroom Man, and this other mining skeleton dude, vomiting up grossness, and the Spore Lord. So I'm going to be trying to get all of these cleaned up in the new aesthetic today. It shouldn't be too bad because I mean most of the work's already done. That's basically just tweaking them to be full color instead of made up of 3 colors. Or 2 colors, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, so it's time to get to it. Good afternoon, and man, it has been another productive day, although I feel like it wasn't as productive as it probably could have been. I found myself getting distracted quite a bit after lunch today, but I got all of what I set out to do and a little bit more done. I'm just a little bit worried because it's going to be hot for the next few days, which is going to slow me down. But anyway, as you can see here, we've got some new sprites which are already in the game. We've got a Big Boy Broseph here, as well as his Cordy biceps. They're obviously a lot less white now because since they are blue. New Drakbat is looking pretty neat, pretty cute. I'm really happy with how the bin chicken came out. I mean, I always liked the bin chicken design, but I think now in particular it really pops more. It never quite worked with only 3 colors. I think it's definitely a lot more legible now visually. A little fat, chubby mushroom boy. And this guy who was always like a bit of a mole, it was always, I don't know that it was always clear that these were his hands and that he was poking out of the ground. So I think that's a little bit more clear now, which I'm happy about. Spore Lord looks creepy, although you can clearly tell he's wearing a suit like he's a magician. The Leggy Clod is a lot more, well, it's strutting its stuff. It's a weird design. I don't know what I was thinking when I come up with that. Here's the boss, Mr. Millipede. He's looking a lot nicer now. Senior Mushroom Man. It's looking still pretty creepy and gross, I think. And then we have the skeletons. I redid their hand over here because it wasn't really reading very well, the original design. And you still got that same one here. And then last of all, Elmer with his battle sprite. So that's basically what I did today. And then I also did some fixing some little events and things like that. There were some broken events that I broke a while back, so those have all been refixed. I'm hoping I'll have it ready for this weekend, the full first episode remastered, if you will. So tomorrow it's onto the actual character sprites for the dungeon, because they are still using the old ones, and these little boys are what's next. Look at this guy. Look at him. It's a bit of work, but it's doable, I think. Good afternoon. It is Thursday. It's been a long day. It's 8 o'clock at night, but I got a lot done today. First of all, as you can see, we've got a new title screen. It says down the bottom, October demo. If you're a patron, you'll already be able to have access to this. I think I'm going to try to get out a demo a month, so for patrons. So this month will be episode 1. I'm hoping next month episode 2 will be back up to speed and you'll get that. After that, it'll just be small sections, maybe a town, maybe a dungeon. We'll see. But that's my plan, I think, for how I'll be doing this down the road. But what I did today was, aside from this title screen, was incorporating all of the new character sprites for enemies, such as this Mushroom Man. There he is, Mushroom Man. And I also toned down the backgrounds and things, saturated them like the backgrounds to get them so the characters would pop out against them a bit more. And basically that's taken me all day to get all of the enemies for this dungeon done. And I'm really happy with how they've come out, actually, especially ones like this bat. He looks nice and detailed. If I come up here and skip all this stuff, there's a bin chicken in there. I'm really happy with the new bin chicken battler. I believe this is a bin chicken here, yeah. So I'm really happy with the new bin chicken battler. I think he looks great. He definitely reads a lot better than he used to. So it's still using the old battle animations. Those have not been updated yet. But yeah, I'm really happy with like how this guy's come out looking, doing his little dance. So that's all I've done today. Yeah, it's been long. I got a headache, and I'm ready to go to bed. So yeah, it was a productive day, but a tiring one. Good morning. It is a very toasty Friday. Well, actually, it's afternoon now. I didn't realize. This morning has basically just been spent updating the Patreon with the week's new information, which is all available here. So that's already up, as you can probably tell. And also getting this new October demo ready. So that's now uploaded, and that'll be ready to go on Sunday. And what's equally exciting is that episode 1 has now been removed from Trello. It is all done. It's all in there. So that's going to be it for this week. I'm going to spend my afternoon editing the video and getting that ready for upload and everything for Sunday, because tomorrow I'll be spending the day with family. So yeah, that's it for this week. And next week on Monday, I'll be getting straight back into development with the tiles for episode 2, redoing those. So I hope you join me then. But before I go, I want to give a shout out to my $5 patrons. So thank you Cortop Dev and Lone Wolf 123 for supporting this project. Without you guys, this thing wouldn't be happening as quickly and as well as it is. So thank you. So thank you for your support, everybody, on this project. If you want to support it, please check out my Patreon. You can find it here, or subscribe to this channel. And hopefully I'll see you next time. So until then, peace out and have a good one.